Hey there, we're going to be working on fractions using a number line again. So remember, you can use a number line to model fractions. The number line shows one whole as the length between 0 and 1. So remember, we make our number line just like this, and we put the 0 at the beginning and 1, and that means it's one whole. Okay? Let's practice with this problem. Meg cuts a straw into fourths. So let's circle that word fourths, that's important. She used the entire straw in an art project. Write a fraction, so we need to make sure we're writing a fraction to represent the total number of the straws she used. Show your answer on a number line. So first we have to figure out the denominator. Meg cut the straw into fourths. So there are 4 equal parts in the whole straw. The denominator is 4. So here's 4 different parts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then what they want us to do in step 3 is ring the fraction parts. Meg used 4 pieces, so we're going to ring 4 parts. Label the lengths with fractions. So let's practice our hops. Remember, we start after we hop. So start at the 0 and 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. And so we know that this first notch is 1/4. Then we have 2/4, 3/4, and then 4/4, which equals 1 whole. So then, step 4, write the fraction for the amount of straw that Meg used. 4 would be the numerator because she used 4 pieces, and the denominator would be 4 as well because that's how many total pieces there were in all. So Meg used 4/4 of a whole straw. The number line in step 3, right here, shows 4/4. Let's practice with this one. It says to show 3 halves on the number line. So I'm going to circle that. And our strategy says to show wholes divided into equal parts. Okay, so what are we dividing it into? 2 as the denominator. So the fraction 3 halves has the 2 as the denominator. So you need to show halves on the number line. So from 0 to 1, you need to break that in half. So that one is worth 1/2. Then over here, of course, it would be 2 halves, which equals 1, okay? This one would be 3 halves, and then this one would be 4 halves, which would actually equal 2. And we talked about that a little bit in class. So when we'll continue, if that's a little tricky for you, we'll continue practicing this some more in class as well. So then the last step we need to do is to ring the fraction parts, and you want to show 3 halves or 3 halves. So we're going to ring those 3 parts. So here we go. Starting at 0, 1/2, 2 halves, 3 halves. And so the number line in step 3 shows 3 halves. And I did a couple pictures in class too to help. So if we have this, it would have one circle that is broken up into a half. None of them are shaded. This one would have half where half of it would be shaded. This one would be broken up into half and both parts would be shaded. 3 halves is when we need more than just one circle. So we have one that's broken up into half and then another shape that's broken up into half. So we have 1, 2, 3 halves. And then over here, this 2 would look like this, where we have broken off into halves because that's our denominator, and that 2 would have all of them colored in. Because remember, 3 halves, and then it would be 4 halves, which equals that 2. Okay, so that was just a little bit to practice. Using pictures helped me visualize it a little bit better too. All right, the last thing we're going to do is show 5/3 on the number line. So first of all, we have to think the fraction 5/3 has what as the denominator? 3. Good job. So we're going to divide each whole into 3 equal parts. We're going to label the number line with the fractions. So here's 1, 2, 3. So this would be 1/3, 2/3, and 3/3, which equals 1. Okay? But we're not just doing 3/3, we're actually doing 5/3, right? So we have to continue. And so then we would continue with 4/3, 5/3, and then we would have 6/3, which would equal 2 as a whole. Okay? So then they want us to ring how many parts? 5. That's what the numerator says, parts on the number line to show 5/3. So let's go ahead. I'm going to use a different color so you can see that. And we're going to ring that part. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we can go back and make sure that that's all circled up or ringed up. And so 5/3 right here is what we would do. So the length marked on the number line shows, what is it again? 5/3. So remember, the denominator tells us how much each whole is divided up into. That's why it's always going to stay the same. Thirds, 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 thirds. And that numerator shows us how many thirds. So we start with 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, and then continue 4/3, 5/3, 6/3. All right, friends, go ahead and practice this a little bit tonight for homework, and then we'll continue practicing some more in class also. All right, great job listening. Bye.